mean, too much overall to put into one context as far as watching the show. Blow by blow, you see Florida got in. That makes you feel better that your name's coming, but until you see it, you are a little antsy. But good for those guys, and the argument will be made that an 11th team could have got in too for the SEC. But happy for those Florida guys, and that kind of gave you a sigh of relief that we'll be in there, just a matter of where. And it doesn't matter where you go. If you're in, and you're excited about it. So we're certainly excited to do something that hadn't been done in a long time too. I mean, Coach Delmonico is somebody that's talked about a lot around here for a few different reasons. We appreciate what he did. It's not easy, especially here. It's not easy for a variety of reasons. And you know, he kind of left a blueprint too, and we've been trying to follow that. So to do something he hadn't done since then, I mean, we owe thanks to a lot of people, and he's one of them. And Coach Serrano's another for some of the things he did to put us in a good position when we first got here. But there's been a lot of work put in too, and players got to play. They get you there, but among the two I've already mentioned, the assistant coaches are really the ones that deserve the most credit, I feel, for another number going up on that wall. And that includes Woody and Megan Anderson, our academic coordinator, Q, our strength coach, and the assistant coaches everybody knows by now. Pretty tremendous effort by those guys to get these guys to overachieve.
What do you think of the draw?
You know, it can't get away from Coach Jackson. He was a road warrior when he was at North Carolina, so he'll be very familiar with the site. You know, I guess the more you travel, a little bit bigger headache it is, but plane ride, bus ride, it really doesn't matter. Again, when you're in, you're in. I think a good thing is we get to stay on the East Coast, so maybe some of our fans can travel with us and experience the whole deal with us. And again, it's all about playing a team that we played earlier in the year, but that game at this point, it's tough to remember every detail, but also the details really don't matter. It'll be two different teams squaring off.
Is there something different about the way you approach games this time of year, or do you approach it just like every other game that you played all season?
You know, it's kind of the start of a new season. So it's doing opening day all over again, but instead of using January and February, which you're training like crazy to be ready for opening day so you have no regrets, you have 56, 57 games in our instance of experience and preparation. So while it is the start of a new season, you just played a full one, and you've got a lot of information to use. And you've also got some guys that are a little bruised and battered from playing. So you got to just go out and play baseball. But it is the start of a new season that, you know, can end quickly if you don't play well.
You made a comment at the beginning of the season that you didn't want this to be year two. You kind of wanted to go full speed. Do you feel like this is what you meant by going full speed, getting to the NCAA tournament? Yeah,
I do. I feel like there's some guys that, you know, played for Coach Serrano and played for us. And then there's new guys, and there's last year's talked a lot about to use examples as our first year here. But all in all, this is, you know, the 2019 Tennessee team. And they kind of merged into a pretty impressive group before the season even started. And I think when I made those comments, in the back of my mind and the other coaches were thinking, this could be a special year. And special can come a lot of different ways. But again, putting a number up on that wall when it hasn't had one added up there in a while is beyond special.
I know you didn't want the SEC tournament to be viewed as a learning experience, but you know, if you do that, what can you take away from that for this group going into NCAA tournament play?
Sure. Well, for future teams, the SEC tournament has a lot of value. Always a little envious of a team that gets to celebrate like the winners did yesterday. And Mississippi proved that the tournament has tremendous value. They probably earned a host seed playing there. But for us, you got to take a positive any way you can. Phenomenal learning experience. Even though we had been down to Hoover earlier in the year, I think our guys' eyes were a little too wide at some of the things that go on with what is probably the best spectacle that college baseball can put on other than Omaha. And it put us on our heels a little bit. And it doesn't matter if you're boxing or doing anything else in sports, heels is probably not a very good position. Heels are for models.
Tony, with this group, is this just a progression of players gaining experience and you gathering more talent? Are there other qualities with this group that allowed them to make this step this year?
You know, I think there's a lot of things. Tennessee's a great place to recruit to. So whether it be the old staff or us, there's been good talent added here. I mean, look at Nick Senzel. But getting back to this team, I think it's a wide variety of things you could point to that helped the team merge into one. It was scrambling like crazy I mean, me and Chad Zerker must have shown 30 people through here the first 20 days we were here, scrambling like crazy to bring in guys, make the most of the guys that we currently had. Really were patient in adding the coaches that we did, because, you know, the athletic department was great and let us basically start from scratch at hiring everybody we wanted to. And we were very patient, and it paid off there. So just a lot of things. But at the end of the day, the group that is in that locker room right now, pretty happy with what they've done so far, was the group we had in January, and they got after it. They were required to, but then there were hours too that were not mandatory, and they got after it. And, you know, there's 64 teams that paid the price, you know, to get in, and I'm sure there's some arguing about this team, no way they should have got in, or this team was on the bubble, but you know, for the most part, you got to pay the price to be rewarded, and these guys have been rewarded, so it's great for them.